Exercise 4.3. The inexperienced bookkeeper of Park Traders closed off the cash journals for March 2018 and posted the totals already to the general ledger before the bank statement was received from the bank. So the bank account was balanced on the 31st of March and showed a favorable balance of 2,900. So let's go and put that in. Balance as per on the 31st of March, it was favorable balance brought down 2,900. Remember, bank is known as an asset account, so therefore increasing and decreasing. Let's put it in reconciliation is known as a liability, which increases on the credit side and decreases on the debit side. Good. Then also the bank statement received from ABSA on the 31st of March 2018 showed an unfavorable balance of 5,100. So unfavorable, so that I take or bring to my reconciliation statement. Unfavorable meaning it's a debit balance then per bank statement, 5,100. Remember, this 2,900 is not the balance that I bring down to recon yet, because I still need to make adjustments to this amount as we go through the reconciliation process. Required. Take the given information into account and enter all additional entries needed directly into the bank account in order to calculate the correct bank balance on the 31st of March 2018. Number 2, also prepare the bank reconciliation statement on the 31st of March 2018. So firstly, information. A comparison between the bank statement received from ABSA and the cash journals for March brought the following differences to light. So now you need to pay close attention as to where the problem is. So ask yourself the whole time, is it outstanding in my books or outstanding in the bank's books? If it's outstanding in my books, I add it to bank. If it's outstanding in the bank's books, then I add it to recon statement. So question number 1, or adjustment number 1. The bank statement shows a deposit of 1,500 made on the 16th of March. The amount of the deposit appears as 15,000 in the cash receipts journal. The amount in the cash receipts journal is correct. So cash receipts journal correct and bank statement incorrect. So therefore the error needs to be corrected in terms of bank statement. So I corrected on recon statement, and I can see here that the deposit that they've put through is too little. So they've credited the bank statement but with too little, so they need to go and add in some more money on the credit side. So therefore I credit the wrong deposit. The difference between 15,000 and 1,500 tells me that I need to put through a further credit of 13,500. Number 2, check 155 for 500 was issued to the primary school on the 15th of January as a donation. The check was lost. So the check must be cancelled and must be replaced by check 250, issued on the 31st of March 2018, but dated only for the 6th of April. Okay, so firstly, the first check needs to be cancelled. So in other words, it's in our books and it needs to be cancelled in our books. So we originally put it through as a credit in my books. So when I cancel, I'll go and debit my bank account with donations. Check number 155 is now stopped for 500 Rand. Then they say we must replace it by check number 250. And even though it's only dated for the 6th of April, which makes this a post-dated check, doesn't matter. Post-dated check that we pay with is still recorded as any other normal check. So I go to my bank and I go and create an entry on the credit side because that's where I'm decreasing my bank. For donations, check number 250 was issued for 500 Rand. Now very important, this was issued at the last or on the last day of the year. So therefore this 500 Rand would also be outstanding for bank statement. So if it's outstanding for bank statement, I add it to my reconciliation statement as a debit outstanding check 250 for 500 Rand. Third, a deposit of 16,300 on the 30th of March does not appear on bank statement, so it is in my books, but it's outstanding for bank statement, therefore I add it to bank reconciliation statement. So on bank reconciliation statement, I'm going to say that I'm going to credit the outstanding deposit of 16,300. Number 4, the bank statement shows the following bank charges. There's service fees, checkbook charges, and cash handling fees. Remember, those 3 fees you add together to get me one amount for bank charges. And then interest on overdraft, 670. So it's on the bank statement, but it's outstanding in my books. So I want to add it to my books, so I add it to the bank account. So in the bank account, I'm going to decrease my bank first with the bank charges of 880, and secondly with the interest on overdraft, 670 Rand. Number 5, an amount of 12,800 appears on the bank statement as a direct deposit made by the tenant on the bank account of Park Traders regarding the rent for March and April. So 12,800 on the bank statement, but not in our books. Therefore, we want to add it to our books, so we're going to put it into the bank account. So in other words, in bank, I want to increase my bank account because this is rent income received. So therefore, rent income increases my bank account with the 12,800 for rent. Number 6, the bank statement reflects the following debit orders: 6,400 for the monthly insurance of the business, and then 1,800 for the monthly insurance of the owner. So again, this is information on bank statement, but outstanding in my books. So I go and put it into my books in terms of the adding it to the bank account. So when I go to my bank account, both of these are payments that decreases my bank account. So I'm going to put it through as credit entries. So firstly, the first one are known as insurance because it's for the business, 6,400. But the second one, the 1,800, is for the personal account of the owner. So therefore, I'm going to put it through as drawings from the CPJ. Number 7, the bank statement shows an unpaid check of 1,850, which was received from a debtor on the 15th of March regarding settlement of the account of 2,000. The check was dishonored because of insufficient funds. So now the question is, it's outstanding in my books, so I want to add it to my books, but which amount do I use, the 1,850 or the 2,000? You always ask yourself, what is the amount that entered through my bank? And the check amount is the amount that I would have put it through as my bank amount. So therefore, I only pay attention to the 1,850. So the 1,850 was received in the first place. Therefore, I increased my bank account. Now I need to go and decrease my bank account to cancel that entry out. So I'm going to put through a credit entry from debtors for 1,850. Number 8. The check 209 was issued on the 12th of March for payment of the telephone account. The amount is shown correctly as 1,400 on the bank statement, but is wrong as 4,100 in the cash payment journal. So bank statement shows 1,400, our record shows 4,100. They say we are wrong, so therefore we have already credited our account with 4,100, which is way too much. So therefore we need to add a little bit to make this decrease go up. So we are going to add some money back into our bank account. The difference between 4,100 and 1,400. So that's 2,700 that I need to go and add back in. So I'm going to add it back in on the debit side. Telephone account, difference between 4,100 and 1,400 tells me that I need to add back 2,700 because I decreased my account in the first place with too much. Number 9, the bank statement shows check number 873 for 6,200 for trading stock. This check appears wrongly on the bank statement of the business because it was intended for park stores. So because it is in the wrong account, we are park traders and not park stores. This is an error on the bank side. So the bank needs to correct it. So in terms of the bank, we're going to show it as a correction on bank recon. So on bank recon, because it was a check that they put it through on the debit side. So to correct it, we need to go and put through a credit to cancel it out. So credit the wrong check of 6,200. Number 10, the following checks were not yet presented for payment on the 31st of March. Check number 224 and check number 238. So not yet presented means that the bank does not know about the checks yet. So it's outstanding on bank statement. Therefore, if I want to add it, I need to add it to bank recon statement. So I'm going to show that check 224 for 1,900 is still outstanding, as well as check number 238 for 3,250. And I put through those checks in the debit column of bank reconciliation, as if to decrease my bank statement balance. Then lastly, the bank statement shows a direct deposit of 18,450 made by Nedbank. This deposit is, however, for fixed deposit that expired, as well as the interest for the last 5 months. So this is outstanding then in my books because the bank statement knows about it. So we need to go and put it into my books, into my bank account. But when I put it into my books, I need to put it in as 2 separate entries, not one amount. So I need to go and find out what was the interest amount and what was the fixed deposit amount. So I need to go and calculate that. So if we make fixed deposit X and we make interest X plus X times the 6% times 5 over 12 months, then if I have fixed deposit as well as the interest, it all adds up to 18,450. So if I calculate what is in my brackets, I see that I've got 30 x's over 1,200. So fixed deposit plus interest equals 18,450. Now it's just normal maths. You get x alone by taking the 18,450 and times it by 1,200 over 30. And then you get your x alone as 18,000. So 18,000 was in fact the fixed deposit amount. Therefore, your interest is the difference between 18,450 and 18,000. So your interest amount is 450. So when I put it into my books, I'm going to show it on the debit side because it's money that's paid back to us. So therefore, increasing my bank account. Fixed deposit 18,000, interest on fixed deposit 450. Then I am absolutely done. So the only thing left for me to do is to balance my account and then balance out my recon statement. So I balance my account. Debit side is more with 37,350. Therefore my balance carried down is 25,250. Balance brought down to the debit side 25,250. Very important, if it's a debit here, you put it as a debit in recon as well. So in recon, debit balance as per bank account 25,250. So when I now close off my reconciliation statement, I add up my debits, it gives me 36,000. I add up my credits, it also gives me 36,000. Therefore, I know that my reconciliation process is in fact in balance and I've reconciled my bank to that of the bank's bank.